Hello, ICT 418 and Professor Burns. My name is Gabe Fisher, and this is my Project 3, aka final video presentation on LAMP stack installations. Let's get right to it. So, starting off with the first portion of this PowerPoint, Project 1, the Ubuntu LAMP stack setup. Looking back and comparing the two projects, Project 1 and Project 2, this one was definitely a lot easier due to the fact that we've been using Ubuntu all semester, and you gave us instructions for not only LAMP stack installation, but WordPress as well. When it came to LAMP stack installation, it was very basic commands to install Apache 2, PHP, and MariaDB. Although, when I was installing MariaDB, Ubuntu machine, or my Ubuntu machine, wasn't up to date. So I had to go to the official MariaDB install website and input commands from a specific repo, get it up to date, and then I was successfully able to install MariaDB. So not only was that, obviously good for the LAMP stack, but that was good just for me and, learning how to troubleshoot. Obviously, IT, I wouldn't say a lot of the time, but sometimes, at least in my experience, not everything always goes as plans. It's a little bit annoying sometimes, but that's unfortunately just the industry. So you got to be able to troubleshoot and work around the problem. Moving on to part 2. This is the WordPress installation portion. Personally, I thought WordPress would be a lot harder to install, but it turns out it wasn't. I first began by downloading a zip file within the /var/www/html directory and unzipped it. This obviously extracted the WordPress software. I then had to switch into root so I could input MariaDB-root to get into MariaDB and create a user, which obviously I did. After that, I then ran /var/www/html/WordPress to get into the WordPress directory. The reason for doing so is to be able to rename the wp-config-sample.php, it's a lot of words, file to wp-config.phpp. You just got to do it for basic configurations and to make things a lot cleaner. I then went into the file to adjust certain fields while also disabling FTP uploads from the site. Last but certainly not least, I changed the file ownership and entered the website http:// you see it. That IP address is the external IP of my virtual machine. And then on my Google Chrome browser, I successfully got WordPress working. So that was project 1. Moving on to project 2. Coming into this project, I had never heard of the Linux-based distribution OpenSUSE. I had to literally look up how to pronounce it. So creating a new instance, I decided to do some research on it. After doing some research, I learned more about what it is and what it's used for, different settings, what I should click on when creating a new OpenSUSE instance. I began the process of creating a new instance on Google Cloud by changing the name of it to OpenSUSE-server, changing the region/zone. I think I put it on Ohio because that was the closest one. And then I left the machine type as a standard option. It already has selected E2, allowing 2 CPUs, 1 core, and 4 gigabytes of memory, aka RAM. I did, however, change the operating system within the disk to OpenSUSE. Obviously, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been able to, do any of the OpenSUSE configurations, keeping the version of 15.5 and leaving the disk size at 10 gigabits. And lastly, I enabled HTTPS traffic, then, created the machine. So let's get into LAMP stack. The main difference between OpenSUSE and Ubuntu that I noticed, obviously there's a couple more other ones, is instead of using apt, you use zypper. Zypper is obviously used to install commands, applications, and run more specific commands like zypper refresh and zypper update. LAMP stack installations was very basic using commands such as zypper install Apache 2, systemctl start Apache 2, system enable Apache 2, and systemctl status Apache 2. Same thing for MariaDB, just obviously substituting out Apache 2 for MariaDB. Then my next step for installing the LAMP stack, before, obviously I looked up a video of this that was, use resources. Before the guy in the video ran this command, I didn't know why. MySQL _secure_installation. But after seeing it, it was just basic security questions like switched to Unix socket authentication, removed anonymous user, disallowed root login remotely, removed test database and access to it, and lastly, reloaded privilege tables. Wrapping this up, the third major part of the LAMP stack is obviously installing PHP. I ran the command zipper install PHP 7, PHP 7 MySQL, PHP 7-Apache 2. After doing that, I received an error message, although after that, I've done other commands like Elasticsearch, Kibana, stuff like that. I VI'd into slash, so I kind of knew what to VI into. Obviously, it was in the video too, but slash Etsy slash PHP 7 slash CLI slash PHP.ini. After doing that, I had to change the short open tag to on, allowing for short open tags in PHP writing. And then lastly, we've been doing this command all semester. I added a firewall on TCP port 80. So that's the LAMP stack. Lastly is obviously WordPress, the major part of this project. I first CD into the mount directory and then ran the command wget https : you can read that, obviously, that got WordPress in, and then I extracted the final to get all the software, and then I moved WordPress into /srv /www/htdocs and CD'd into that. In the final steps of my process, I ran the command move the sample into the original. And then I lastly VI'd into the original and changed the database username and password. This was also would match up, and I could go into it on my Google Chrome web browser. And then after doing so, I ran the command chown -r www run www/server/www/htdocs/ a lot of words, and then chmod showmod, not exactly sure how to pronounce it, 775-r/srv/www/htdocs/dat. And yeah, that successfully completed my word install process. In conclusion, both of these assignments were extremely significant for me for not only, my skills as a Linux admin, but also for IT. No matter what field you're in, most likely you're going to have to do some installs at some point. Whether that's Splunk, Elasticsearch, Kibana, etc. Whatever field you're in, you're gonna have to do some installs. So like I stated back in slide 2, I had to do some basic troubleshooting skills and get my machine up to date, properly installing MariaDB. And when it comes to IT, it's a lot of troubleshooting in general. If you can't troubleshoot, then the chances are you won't be successful within the field. I think honestly that portion was more beneficial to me to an extent, and then just the install itself. Anybody can go on youtube.com and type in commands and figure it out, but if you're taking to the next level and are able to troubleshoot and do stuff like that, it's a whole nother game. Overall, I really enjoyed both these assignments and getting to test my ability on OpenSUSE. That will do it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day.